Well, hi, everybody, and welcome into the Allen N. Reeves Football Complex here on the campus of Clemson University. Signing day for our 2021 class. We're doing the first one here in December. We got another day that will still be coming in the month of February. But we're going to talk about a great day here today for Clemson football. National championship trophies are here with us, both Golden Scepters. We'll see if we can pick up a third Golden Scepter before the season is all said and done here. I'm Don Munson. We welcome you in and glad to have you with us for about the next hour and 15 minutes-ish. We'll find out exactly how long this takes us to get through, but we'll be joined by head coach Dabo Swinney here in just a little bit. We're going to start the show, however, with Jordan Sorrells, our director of recruiting for Clemson, now officially in his 7th year. We just figured that out before we went on air. Welcome, Jordan. This is a big day and an exciting day for Clemson football.
Yeah, it really is. It's, the culmination of a lot of hard work and a lot of effort by a lot of folks, and really just a great day of celebration for these guys and their families. So much goes into these decisions, and so much goes into raising a child and developing a young man to the point where he's got a decision like this to make. And so it's really a great day for us to be able to celebrate and just be super excited for these families. And I can tell you we're extremely proud of the group that we're bringing in. Just a lot of really good players, but even better young men that are going to just improve Clemson as a program and as a university, and we can't wait to get them here.
Well, and it's not only the commitment of the young men to Clemson University. You use that word family. Clemson family is certainly a big thing here on this campus. So we're not just having the young man commit to us. We're having their family and their extended family commit to Clemson. That's exciting in and of itself.
Yeah, no question. That's part of the draw to Clemson, I think. When people, when they visit, when families, and obviously this year's been unique and not being able to really get on campus, but, when you see the parents of our players tailgating, you see them all interacting with each other, just the joy and the love that they have for each other and that they have for Clemson as well. It really is a lifelong commitment, and they end up making a lot of great relationships that really go well beyond their time at Clemson. And so just excited for that. It was fun, because think back on signing day just a year ago and thinking about guys like DJ who signs, and then you're watching mom and dad celebrate in the stands as he plays on Saturdays. It makes it all worthwhile, and just love that the families get to be a part of this with them and go through this process, and they also get to call themselves Clemson family.
All right, recruiting in the COVID era. I mean, what has that been like? I mean, it's dead periods. You haven't had guys here on campus. It's just been totally different for you.
Yeah, it's certainly been unique, and we've had to adjust to the challenges along the way, just as everybody has. So we're not unique in our issues. Everybody's kind of been dealing with the same playing field, which has been nice in some ways. But we've had to get creative. A lot of Zoom calls. We've all got Zoom fatigue. I know the entire world has Zoom fatigue, but we certainly do. We've done quite a few of those, and I give a ton of credit to Ty Clements and the work that he's done setting all those up, and really he's been our workhorse when it comes to Zoom. He has logged a lot of hours on there to our coaching staff who have done the same thing, but our staff in Nieri and Paul Journey, our strength and conditioning staff, everybody's had to get creative and spent a lot of time virtually visiting kids and trying to build relationships, not in person. So signed a couple of kids today that have never one who's never been on campus, and one that we haven't seen in a while, and so that's certainly unique for us. But I think it speaks to our culture still that people still matter, and we've been able to really build some strong relationships and really engage with these guys, even not being able to have them on campus. And at the end of the day, our people have won out, and that's pretty rewarding.
You mentioned about having a guy sign with us who's never visited campus. We have a couple of crossover signees that are actually going to play some other sports here on Clemson's campus. It takes me back to a guy named Jimmy Key. Jimmy Key played baseball here, of course, went on to have a great major league career. But when Coach Wilhelm was the coach, he got him to commit without ever showing up to the Clemson campus. So that in of itself, a little bit old school from that standpoint. All right, up above us is a place called the War Room. That's where a majority of your meetings take place for recruiting. So kind of take me through. You allow me in the War Room occasionally, where I can get in there and look at the big board and all this kind of stuff. The other thing I think that we need to talk about is that as these young men commit to Clemson and sign with this program, that this has been a relationship that you all have been establishing really 2, 3, maybe even 4 years old.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's a fast, a much longer process today than certainly it was a decade ago and longer than that. We find out about kids, some as freshmen, a lot as sophomores, and we really begin a heavy evaluation process in their sophomore year, leading into their junior year. Coach Swinney's philosophy, and I am in full agreement that we try to be slow and right rather than fast and wrong. So we want to be really patient in the process, and so that means a lot of times we're going to offer later than a lot of other schools do. But we want to make sure that we've done a great job in the evaluation process. We want to make sure that we've checked all the boxes, that we know the kind of young man that we're getting. In Coach Swinney's words, he tells them, I want to see you drive a car. I want to see you play varsity football. I want to see you go to prom and do some of those things that you do as you grow and mature. So we want to make sure that those boxes are checked, and that we also get a great evaluation from a football side as well. Make sure that the growth and development that we see early on, it continues, and we think that that young man can grow and develop into the player that we want him to be. But like you said, at the end of the day, it's all about that relationship. And so just making sure that we're engaged in the process all along the way, that we're honest and transparent in who we are and what our philosophy is in recruiting. And that's tended to appeal to the right kid and the right family. And it's worked out for us. There's certainly more than one way to do it, but that way has certainly worked well for us.
All right. Well, certainly congratulations on this class, Jordan. It's magnificent once again.
Thanks, Don. I appreciate it.
All right. So we will make the transfer here. We'll bring Coach Swinney in and have him sit in with us. So we'll have the head man that will talk with us. Before he gets up here, do want to remind you that today's signing day is brought to you by Holiday Ingram Real Estate Law, where every day is signing day. All right. So all the guys are in. So we have our entire class right now that is in, and so everybody has signed from that standpoint. So we're all ready for that, as Coach Swinney will settle in, and we'll talk with him here a little bit about this class, and then we'll also bring in Coach Bates after him. So we'll do all of that as Coach will settle down. We'll get him ready to go and get his thoughts on this signing day here for really the 2021 class, and maybe just the beginning of it, because we got to do it again, like I said, in the month of February, and we'll see what comes there. So believe that we are all set and ready. Let's make sure, as I look over here to my left, that he is set and ready to go. Congratulations, good to see you.
Yeah, man.
What a day for your program.
I'm eyeing these cookies right here.
We have a bet of who is going to be the first guy to take one.
There's only one thing that could get my mind off of signing day, and that's a chocolate chip cookie and some milk. Did y'all leave that for me or Santa and the reindeer? Rudolph might be missing one.
We have a bet of how long it's going to take before you take one and dunk it in the milk. I'm just telling you that there's an over/under, and I've got the under. So
man, that's a weak spot right there. Oh man, what a day! What a day! I always say every day is a great day to be a Tiger, but man, today is special. It's an orange jacket kind of day, Some days you just wake up and you want to wear an orange jacket, and today is the day. Super excited about this group of young men that are coming here. I mean, Christmas is next Friday, but Christmas has come early here in Clemson, South Carolina. So super excited about that. And today and tomorrow, we are celebrating 16 graduates from our program. We have 16 young men on our team that are going to check a major box in life that not too long ago we were recruiting them, and they're all walking across the stage. Some of them still have eligibility. A guy like KJ Henry graduating in 2.5 years. He's just a redshirt sophomore. It's amazing. 16 of those guys, and so going into the postseason this weekend, we'll have 23 graduates on our team, some of them with master's degrees already. We have a couple of those guys that have gotten that done. But today we get to welcome another, incredible signing class. Just a great group of young men that have, chosen to come be a part of this group. And the one thing I can say about this class, first of all, they're great people. Great people. Our staff, that's one thing that we take a lot of pride in. And this is a great group of young people that just happen to be good football players as well. that we believe are committed to excellence in everything that they do, and that stands out in every area. You can watch them play football, you can interact with them, you can check their academics, you can visit with their families. I mean, whatever it is, these are young people of excellence. But definitely our most unique recruiting class that we've signed. So I guess this is, it's my 12th class or maybe 13th. But our first class was February of '09, and that was the Dandy Dozen. And I will never, ever forget that class. I mean, I love all of our classes. They're all special. It never gets old seeing a young person choose Clemson. I mean, it's a big deal. But this is the most unique class. You know, the Dandy Dozen, never forget them. That was Taj Boyd and that whole crew rolling in here, Malachi Goodman and gang. But this is the pandemic posse. That's what I told them. So the pandemic posse, I will never, ever, ever forget this group. So the Dandy Dozen led us into the decade of the tens, and certainly this class right here is going to be an awesome group for the decade of the 20s and all that's to come. But you know, it's unique. You think about it. You know, our whole world shut down in March. We haven't traveled anywhere. We no schools, no camps, nothing. We've played 6 home games. Nobody's able to come. You can't interact with them. Everything we've had to do has been virtual. Our staff has been, I mean, unbelievable what we've been able to come up with and figure out, okay, well, we know what we can't do, but what can we do? And figure out how to communicate, you know, how to stay engaged, how to present our program, present Clemson as if they were here with us. And it's just been awesome. But this group, man, I'm so thankful for this group of young people. I'm thankful for their parents, for just believing in us. And because these kids, we're going to sign 18 guys today, and these kids could have gone anywhere. So many options, could go anywhere. But yet they said, you know what, that's where we want to be. And to me, that's a big deal. And it never gets old seeing a young person choose Clemson, but it's a big deal to me because they're not just choosing to come to Clemson University. They're choosing us as people. And I think that is a huge responsibility, something we look forward to and excited about them finally being able to join us. But just so thankful for all their families and for those young people for believing in us. But we're going to sign 18 guys. We think maybe 12 or 13 will be mid-years, 9 different states. So if you really track us over the last 4 or 5 years, our brand has really grown. It's really grown. I remember, you know, I was like, God, we're going to get a guy from California. You know, I couldn't believe it. We're like going to get a guy from California, and now here we are, you know, going right back, and it's just become our norm. Same thing in Texas. You know, such a big deal. We got a guy from Texas, and now we're going back and back-to-back years and getting another player from Texas. So 11 guys on offense, 7 guys on defense, 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, a tight end, 3 offensive linemen, 2 DNs, 1 D tackle, 1 linebacker, 1 corner, and 2 safeties. But really just a special group. We hope that we'll be able to add a couple of walk-on guys that we're really excited about to this group as well. And there's still a couple guys out there that we're, you know, that haven't made a decision that, you know, we're still continuing to recruit. And who knows what'll happen there. Might be January or something before we know anything. But we're excited about, you know, that prospect as well. But this is a really, really great group, and we're excited about them joining us. And I cannot say enough about, you know, all the people involved. I mean, you know, the leadership, Jordan Sorrells and Ty Clements, they do an amazing job leading our whole recruiting efforts, and Josh and Zach and Lindsay. I mean, they're the best. Our graphics, Joe Robbins, our graphics department, DJ, you know, everybody's involved. Kyle Richardson, we have all of our staff. I mean, they do an amazing job evaluating and just articulating the message of Clemson. So excited about it, and now I think we got an opportunity to maybe meet them. Usually when we're doing this, we got like, I don't know, 300 people in here, and it's crazy. And now it's just me, Don, and some cookies. But it's kind of, this is 2020. This is where we are, and but what a day, man! What a special day for the Tigers, and you're gonna love this group of young people that we're about to meet.
Well, we're going to start with the defensive side of things. So we'll bring in Todd Bates, who also is the recruiting coordinator from the staff side of things. So Todd, he touched on a little bit of this, but certainly in this COVID era now, this has been totally different. But I will tell you, God didn't give us 2020 to beat us down. No, He gave it to us to build us up, and that's what the staff has done throughout all of this. Is that you all have learned and have grown through all of this.
That's right, man. It's been great to just connect with guys and find different ways to do so, and really tap into their world. They all love the FaceTime, and that's all that you have during the quarantine and throughout the pandemic. So we've really just enjoyed embracing that challenge and growing with it and growing through it with the guys.
All right. Well, since we're going to start with the defense, we're going to start with the defensive side. So our first member of our signing class here for 2021. Welcome to the family, Peyton Page. 4th and 1 to Clemson 37. Close to the half here. A stop would be awfully nice. Here's a snap, and Peyton Page up the middle, shoots the gap, hits the running back, and will drop in for a 3-yard loss.
I'm spending this holiday locked in. My body got rid of them toxins.
All right, so Peyton Page, welcome to the family, huh?
Greensboro. Greensboro's been good to us. We back up there. This is Jeff Davis's high school, and Coach Stephen Davis is his coach up there, and they unfortunately weren't able to play this fall. But let me tell you something. I told Todd, I said, all right, you got one spot. You got one spot this year. Our numbers, we recruit to our numbers around here. And we don't just go out and sign a bunch of guys and try to figure it out. We're very specific in how we recruit. We don't offer many guys, but I told Todd, I said, you got one guy. And this was the guy. And listen, his family, and listen, our prayers are with his family, his mom and them. They're dealing with some loss right now, and we lift them up to everyone. But his family, amazing people. I think the first time I met him was maybe 9th or 10th grade, and I remember the first time I was like, this guy's a 9th grade? I mean, unbelievable. But this is a grown man right here. And so that just tells you what we think about him. Obviously, with our brand, we have the opportunity to recruit a lot of people, at least to be able to have a conversation. But this was the one guy that Todd wanted to stand on the table for and put his name on, and we're excited about what he brings.
Yes, man. SPOT stands for special players out there, and Peyton's definitely one of those, man. Really got a chance to get to know him and his family throughout the recruiting process, and meeting him at a young age, and just seeing him develop. He's a very physical. He reestablishes a line of scrimmage and can really rush the passer. But he's going to bring some initial short yardage ability to stop the run, and he can also pass rush. He's a dancing bear. He's got sweet feet. You just love to see him, man, working on the footwork ladder and doing things in his garage as he's had to change up his routine, not being able to get out the gyms, working out from home. It's been really, really good to see him, really attacking that process.
Now, is he a young man that's going to show up here early? Will he be one of those that comes in January?
Yes, he will. He'll be here in January. So getting ready to report soon.
The advantage of getting them here in January, Todd, because I always say it's like they get a whole redshirt season before they actually get to their first season of play.
That's very big for them too, man. Just to, some of those guys that get here, they don't know what they don't know, and they get a chance to go into the playbook and, get a chance to experience being a college athlete. You never know what that's about until you go through that. It's a lot of, you got to balance the academic schedule. You got to be a student athlete, and they don't know what that consists of until they go through it. So it helps them really get that red shirt year out the way, and then also get dived into the playbook to where they're ready to contribute.
Coach, when you take a look at what has been happening, though, with the interior portion of your defensive line now for several years now, this guy is just, all right, it looks like a plug-and-play kind of guy.
Yeah, he's as I said earlier, he's a grown man. And like Todd said, I mean, he's going to reestablish the line of scrimmage quick. He's not a guy you're going to be able to move. One guy is going to have a hard time blocking Peyton, but he's got a bright future. He does. He's got great feet. You know, he's a basketball player. You know, just a great fit for our style of play, what we do, and what we believe in when it comes to the interior D-line play. He's got some great football in front of him, and he's going to be surrounded by some other great players. But he was the one guy that we felt like all across the country fit everything we were looking for, you know, for a Clemson Tiger.
Todd, appreciate it. All the best to you. Looking forward to Saturday now. All right, we'll go take care of business in Charlotte, okay?
Quick segment for Bates right there.
Yeah.
One spot.
One guy, and that's fine. We'll bring in Lemansky Hall, who, of course, takes care of our defensive ends. And as he is settling in, we will welcome into the family our next man, who is Cade Denhoff. Shotgun snap. Here comes the rush. Denhoff coming off the edge and just blows up the quarterback. What a great sack by Denhoff, and that will force a 4th and long situation. All right, so Lemansky, here comes Cade Denhoff to the program. They allow me to go and recreate or create some plays for us, which was a ton of fun. But this is a guy now that's going to cause problems on the edge.
Oh yeah, we're really excited about Cade and what he brings to the table. He camped with us, so we had a chance to really evaluate him, watch him play in person. He's long, explosive, plays with great effort, tough kid, and we're excited to have him here.
Yeah, I kept coming from down there at Lakeland Christian under Coach Danny Williams, and you know, it's the first kid to get from down there at that particular school, and he's a guy that we knew about early. And you know, just the epitome of the game of football. A guy that, as a 9th grader, you know, you saw the potential, but really had to physically develop. And man, oh man, has he? He's long. His body has really started to blossom and mature. But the thing that we love about Cade, he's got the length and the get off and all that stuff that you look for in a DN. He's tough. But he's got a motor you can't coach. All right, this guy has a motor that he's got the switch. There is no switch. The switch is just broken. It's taped on all the time. You know, I mean, it just really excited about Cade and his future at this position. Fits a huge need for us.
Well, another man that you will get to welcome at defensive end, and our next signing that we'll talk about is Zaire Patterson. 1st and 10 at the Clemson 48. They go, hurry up, going to throw a little screen. Here comes Zaire Patterson off a defensive end spot. Hits the man, fumble, and Patterson is going to fall on it as well.
Yeah, Zaire went, you know, going back up to North Carolina, Winston-Salem, and Winston-Salem Prep, Coach Deron Middleton there. This is another one of those guys, and Ski can speak more on it, but he is a guy that's been a multiple position player throughout his career as a football player, and a basketball guy, big time basketball guy, but kind of he just grew into this defensive end role, decided to start playing football. You know, again, was kind of one of those guys going to be a basketball guy. Next thing you know, he's got his hand in the dirt, and they start developing him, and then next thing you know, he goes from about 205 to about 240, and he can fly, and same thing, long, athletic, and you know, we really believe has a bright future for us. Also a great student.
Yeah. I agree. Coach, like Coach said, 240, you know, he's gained a lot of weight over the pandemic, and but man, he's explosive, long, smart kid. He was, you know, he grew up a huge Clemson fan, and that was very impressive when we saw him. Not only a great student, but also a good football player. And looking forward to having him here. He's also, like Coach says, a great basketball player as well. So we're excited to have him here and bring him to our family.
Let me ask you, how important is it when you're looking at a recruit, when you find a guy like this, like both of these guys, who excel not only in football but excel in another sport? Is it important for you to see them have that kind of athleticism, to know that they can do other things?
Yeah, you would like to find guys that can play multiple sports. You know, I played it in high school, and you see it all over the country, guys that are doing other things, and it helps to be able to play multiple sports.
Well, I agree with that. And in fact, it's one of the things that I track every year in the draft. You know, how many of those guys that are going in those upper rounds played multiple sports? You know, because it's one of those things that I always push back against, you know, with kids out there today that feel like they have to specialize, they have to play. I think it's best when you are involved in multiple things and you have different types of training, different team dynamics, different competitive dynamics. And, you know, you might be the best at this, and you might be maybe one of the best at this, but it's a different challenge for you, and especially big guys. I love it when big guys run track, play basketball, whatever it may be. You know, James Skowski, for example, one of our best players. Well, a lot of people don't know, but he was a big-time soccer player. I mean, you know, he'd play football on Friday nights, and then he'd travel to Orlando and play soccer tournaments all weekend. You know, so I just think there's a level of commitment that it says a lot about it, to be able to balance all those things and academics and so forth and still be able to excel. I think it's just one of those boxes. It's not a requirement, but it's nice when you can check that box and say, this guy's a multi-sport guy.
Let me ask you a final thing for you. As you throw these two guys into your room, all right, so now in that defensive end room, you start looking around, you got to love the lay of the land in there, because the way that it's roaming out with the experienced guys that you have, you still have some young pups that are there, and now you're adding two more. I mean, your room, when you look around, you're thinking, all right, I've got the best of the best.
Yeah, that's a good thing to have. Obviously, we want them to come in and do the very best, but we believe in earning the right to play. And I'm sure that these guys are determined. They'll come in and they'll work their tails off.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Lemansky.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We will transfer and bring Mike Reed in. So we'll talk a little bit about some defensive backs, and we'll have three men that have signed with Clemson in that category. And our first one that we are going to talk about is Barrett Carter. Puts the running back off to his right-hand side. Here's the handoff trying to go left side, but Barrett Carter comes up from his safety position and will make the tackle for a 1-yard loss. Barrett Carter with the play of the day.
What's poppin'?
Yeah, coming from North Gwinnett High School, Coach Bill Stewart down there, a guy we've had a relationship with a long time. Known Bill a long time, does an unbelievable job, great program, incredibly well coached. And, you know, Barrett is, I think one of the main things that jumps out at me is dynamic. I mean, he has the ability to do a lot of things. He is a big man. And everybody wants to kind of say he's a linebacker in the recruiting rankings, and we just kind of laugh at that because, you know, he's not a guy you can put in a box. He could really play. He could play linebacker, but he could play either safety position. And if you watch any of his tape, he's a pretty good running back too. So it's a pretty dynamic player coming to be with Coach Reed and Coach Kahn.
Your thoughts on Barrett Carter then, Mike?
He's a guy that teams are going to have to scheme against. As Coach alluded to, he's very dynamic, can do a lot. When you have a guy like that, it's one of those kind of kids you have to be accountable for on every play. You never know where he's going to line up. I mean, heck, he even played quarterback this year and did a heck of a job as a quarterback and a running back. And so those type of athletes on our defense, in our defensive scheme, will allow us to do a lot of things.
This kind of weapon we're seeing more and more now in college football. I mean, a guy like this, obviously, Isaiah Simmons was that guy here. We're going to see it. Notre Dame's got one in Hamilton. We've got a couple of guys that can play that way. This kind of athlete is becoming kind of more and more the norm, and we're glad he's here.
Exactly. Offenses are more spread out. They want to take you to sideline and create plays where one-on-one matchups in space. And as a defender, you want a guy that has that ability to make plays in space. And this is a young man that definitely can do it.
We bring in 3 defensive backs. So the second man that we are going to talk about here in this signing class is Andrew Makuba.
Downfield and the throw, and it's intercepted. Andrew Makuba steps in, just faded the quarterback into that throw, and Clemson has the turnover.
Man, I'm really excited about Makuba, and you know, he is the epitome of 2020. Okay, and he'll laugh when he hears me say that because he knows what I mean. You know, because there's a couple of these guys that I never had a chance to meet. I mean, never in my lifetime would I think that would happen. That's just not how we go about things here. And he's so funny because he actually tried to commit earlier, and I wouldn't let him commit. He's from Austin, Texas. He's LBJ high school coach Jamal Finner, great guy, and he wanted to commit earlier. And I kept thinking, no, I didn't want him to come. I wanted him to come to Clemson. I wanted him to be here, you know, and be able to. I knew he liked Clemson and he had followed Clemson, but I just felt like with all the quarantine and this and that, he was worried we wouldn't have a spot. And I kept thinking that maybe they would open it up and let the recruits come in September or come in October. And I was like, I just want you to be able to. I didn't think it was fair to him. And then they come out and they make recruiting dead, and I called him back. I said, well, I guess you're not going to be able to come, so you're going to be my first quarantine commit. So crazy, but I feel like I know him well between the Zooms and FaceTimes and all the stuff. I mean, but this kid, similar to Barrett, I mean, same thing, dynamic. Barrett is one of those guys that can. You know, he can play against 12 personnel and support the run, and he can play against 10 personnel and have the range to cover and do all the things you need to do in space. He's fast. Well, Makuba, they're different. Makuba's that guy that, you know, has the athletic ability to play either safety, could probably play corner if we needed him to, can play nickel, can play dime. He's a very dynamic player, just like Barrett, and also a great offensive player. Was an excellent offensive player at his high school as well. But really, really excited about Andrew, and can't wait to actually be able to hug him. You know, but he is a great member of the pandemic posse. That's for sure, and can't wait for him to get here.
Mike, thoughts on the strengths of this young man?
As you know, very athletic, has the footwork of a corner, will strike you. You know, as a safety, you're talking about an old school safety. He's one of those guys that can come down and he'll rock your world. Very soft-spoken kid, great family. Had numerous conversations with him on the phone with his little brother. Is a good get for us, truly. A guy that's going to come here and is going to blossom.
All right, well, another good get for us is the third defensive back that we have signed in this class, and that is Nathaniel Wiggins.
One lone line out will go left. Wiggins will draw the single coverage on him. In shotgun, the one to throw, looking left side throw, and Wiggins going to pick it off at the 50, and he's going to house call it. He'll take it to the end zone for 6. A great read by Nathaniel Wiggins.
Yeah, Nate, this guy here, you know, first of all, he's playing in the state semifinals this week, but he's coming from the same high school as A.J. Terrell, who was pretty good, and also one of our wideout commits that we'll talk about later, and Dakari Collins, but down at Westlake High School in Georgia. You know, sometimes I always mess with the staff all the time. You know, sometimes it's just God's favor. That's just how I say it. And you know, but this is a young man, Travis Etienne. You know, I'd never met Travis Etienne until December of his senior year. Boy, aren't we glad we got Travis Etienne? And that was literally just God's favor because situations changed, circumstances changed in the recruiting process, and all of a sudden, boom, we needed a running back, and we got Travis Etienne. And kind of same thing with Nate. I mean, this guy's unbelievable. He is a long guy, can fly, got elite speed, tough, and again, coming from a great program there. But you know, he had a different path that he was going in recruiting, and for whatever reason, circumstances changed, and next thing you know, and we're looking for a corner, and boom, here we are. And so that's all I can say. This is just God's favor getting this young man right here. I mean, he is, his mom Tamika, a great lady, and just super excited about, what he brings to that corner room. And Coach Reed, Santa definitely came to see him on December the 16th. He's a few days early.
Yeah, I mentioned this guy, and a big smile comes on your face over there, Mike.
Because he's dynamic. I mean, as we say, this group right here, this back seven group, I mean, very versatile. I mean, fast. I mean, when you turn on the film and you watch Nate play, you'll see a guy that's just a blazer with the ball in his hands, very confident, goes against great competition, has played against some of our former players here. And as you say, if you're talking about A.J. Terrell, this is one in the bigger version, taller, So I'm ecstatic about this one. When he finally called and said he was committing, I mean, as we talk about, we're on Zoom calls. Well, I was on a Zoom call with his mother, and he had texted her, and then he called me, and just literally just erupted. My family, my kids are jumping. So it was a great Christmas present.
And I would say too about Nate, he's kind of the epitome of our recruiting philosophy, if you will. We don't offer a lot of guys. And kind of like with Coach Bates, I told Coach Reed, I said, all right, you're getting one spot. You get one. We're going to take one elite corner. And so, very few guys that we offered scholarships to, very few. And sometimes, we may be heading down a different path, and this young man's heading down a different path. And again, some things change for whatever reason. And here we are. Man, it just like I said, God's favor just worked it out. It's an awesome situation for him and for us. And again, taking one guy at a place like Clemson, that's all you need to know about what we think of Nate Wiggins. We think he is got a great future ahead of him, and coming into and only taking one tells you what we think about the guys that are already here. We love the young men that are on our roster and in this program, but we got some guys that'll be transitioning, and you're always having to bring in the next great guy, and we think Nate is going to be special.
3 great pieces of the puzzle for you and Mickey Kahn now to work with, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, there you go, Coach Mike Reed. All right, so off we go. Linebacker will be up next. This is a guy who committed very early on to Clemson, Jeremiah Trotter.
Clemson going to show blitz. Jeremiah Trotter creeps up in the gap. Here's a snap. Here comes Trotter. Trotter going to hit the quarterback, blow that up, and that play had no chance at all. Jeremiah Trotter had that read from the get-go.
Yeah, I've been trying to get up to St. Joe's Prep up there and for a while, and man, he is a great player and from Pennsylvania, and I think he was the player of the year up there in Pennsylvania, but been trying to get to St. Joe's for a while and check out this school. It's right there in the heart of Philly. It was pretty cool. I know it says New Jersey, but his school's right there in Philly. And great player, awesome school. Comes from great bloodlines. We all remember his dad, but this is as good a linebacker prospect as we've probably signed. I mean, he can do it all. Unbelievable family, and super excited to get him. And he was one of our first commits. He was one of the very first commits. He's been a young man in camp, and one of the first guys that said, "Hey, I'm coming to Clemson." And could have gone anywhere in the country. And not only did he commit early, he became a leader in this class and stayed the course all the way through.
NFL bloodlines in this young man, Coach Venables, and I know you're excited to have him in your room.
Yeah, we've nicknamed him, by the way, the Quiet Assassin. He really is got a great disposition to him, very focused young man, very driven, excellent student, just very disciplined in everything that he does. He's not in any riffraff whatsoever. He's all business. He came to the Texas A&M game a couple of years ago and committed in the locker room afterwards and after having come to camp, the previous summer, and love his family. He got a little brother that's a monster. He's the next great one, but comes from a terrific program. Coach Roken does an unbelievable job there at St. Joe's Prep and has played it with elite competition. And again, elite academics. He'll transition really fast, but he's what you want in a prototypical linebacker, like Coach Swinney said. Probably his best attribute is just his ability to play diagnosis. His instincts are very natural. Can really strike and run, can play in space. Excellent instincts as far as blitzing. And just he's all about business. And he's really taken on a leadership role in this class and extended branches to the rest of the class. And so these guys are coming in already very, very close to one another.
Coach, when you take a look at all the defensive signees now that we have that have committed here to Clemson, you not only as linebacker coach but as defensive coordinator, man, you talk about pieces of the puzzle now for you to be able to work and design stuff. You got it all for you.
Yeah, this is, again, there's, I believe it's 7 signees on defense, and 6 of them will be mid-years. And what you love about the guys up front, you've got length and power. The length with Zaire and Cade, and they can both really run, tremendous athletes. And then the power with Peyton Page is really special. You can't coach that. He's got tremendous agility for such a big man, but something that's going to give us a different presence, more like a DJ Reader type of guy that can really move and athletic, but really his best thing he can do is he can handle 2 gaps. And so excited, about, what Peyton brings to the table. And then in the back end, just the back 7 guys that we've recruited at speed and position flexibility, just a lot of versatility in that group of guys, but guys that have tremendous instincts, ball skills, physical toughness, and a really, really intelligent group of players.
Coach, we've mentioned a couple of times, hey, they were here at camp, we got to see, you didn't have that this year. And I don't know that people understand just how important camp is for recruiting for you all, because y'all's is a working camp. I mean, it's not just you all put them through 3 days of, of really some really good work. And so the adjustment from that, how difficult has that been?
Yeah, the positive for us is we were far down the road on this 21 class, if you will. We're the guys that it makes it a little harder is the class of 22. Because we get, these guys come to camp, we start early, and we don't do combines and all that stuff. We coach football, I just believe you got to be a football player. And if we can't evaluate all the other stuff based on that, then we probably shouldn't be coaches. It is big, but everybody was the same for everyone, so we've had to really dive in and really slow down a little bit more on this 22 class. But the other thing I will say about Jeremiah, and I'm glad he mentioned Coach Roken, man, what a job. But all these guys, if you really look at this class, one of the other great characteristics that they have is they're winners. They're all coming, they're winners. They know how to win. Jeremiah's coming from, back-to-back state championships, an incredibly a great winning program. We have a lot of guys that have already won state championships. And then we have some other guys that are still in the process of playing for them. It's a group that's one of those things to me it's you can't measure that. But when guys have been a part of winning and they know what it takes, they bring that with them. And Jeremiah he's bringing a great culture with him already to join us here at Clemson, not to mention what he's been exposed to through his family dynamics and experiences of what his dad was able to do as a player, and just his understanding of football at the highest level.
Brent, the other thing that I think is unique about Clemson recruiting is that, yes, you have your own area, all right, of the country, of this state, but you gang up on people now. There's, just because Jeremiah Trotter is a linebacker doesn't mean that you're the only one that has their hands on them here in this staff. There's a bunch of you all get together and you all will go out and mass recruit guys.
Yeah, and our guys are hungry for it. It's what I love about our staff. Everybody's got a selfless demeanor to them. And, we're a relationship-driven program. So we spend a lot of time deciding on who we're going to go after. And so everybody feels very invested in each and every one of these guys. And again, we just have a relentless group of guys that relationships are important to them. And everybody's intimately involved. So I think that's an important aspect. You look at, again, we talked about, the pandemic, and there's a lot of anxiety, going on, particularly with recruiting and the families and the dynamics. Coaches had more time than ever in regards to trying to reach out to guys and bridge, bridge relationships and maybe create some doubt and things of that nature. And so another thing that you have such a great appreciation for is the loyalty that this group of guys have shown, the commitment that they've shown, and Coach hit on it as far as the leadership. I mean, these are some bona fide dudes when it comes to the best of the best, both on and off the field. And you look at a guy like Barrett Carter, who comes from an incredible program there at North Gwinnett, and Coach Bill Stewart, and the success that program's had. And yeah, he's a dog on the field, off the field, incredible, impeccable student. But he's also one of the most humble guys that you'll be around. And so Coach alluded to, Jeremiah coming from that culture and bringing that with him. He's going to bring that. Barrett will bring that, with him as well as, again, Andrew Makuba, coming from LBJ, one of the largest high schools in the state of Texas there in Austin. Incredible success, made it to the semifinals in the state playoffs. Or you look at Nate Wiggins coming from a terrific program. We have some ties there at Westlake, and all the success that they've had as well this year in particular. And again, a guy that knew what he wanted when the opportunity was open. That's what you have an appreciation for Nate Wiggins. He jumped at the opportunity, and it had everything to do with Clemson. And so you have, again, a great appreciation for both him and his family for trusting us. And, again, all these players for trusting us with their futures.
All right, well, 7 great players for you to work with over on the defensive side of the ball. Congratulations on that side.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Get after Notre Dame in Charlotte, all right? So that's the defensive side of the ball. Let's switch over to the offensive side of the ball, and we'll start at the quarterback position first. Couple of guys here, both of them going to benefit not just football, but also the opportunity to benefit another sport here at Clemson. So our first quarterback signee that we will talk about will be Bubba Chandler.
Chandler will take the shotgun snap, going to roll left side, looking for Williams in the end zone. He'll find him. The dual threat quarterback gets it done. He gets it done on the diamond. He gets it done on the gridiron. Clemson up by 3.
Hey, Don, man, really excited about Bubba. And go back to what you mentioned just a minute ago before we talked about Bubba. You brought it up as far as kind of our philosophy and how we recruit. We're not territorial. We all have areas and territories that we're responsible for, but we're not territorial. And as coaches, we get way too much credit. And we decide who we want. Like, okay, we got one spot, who's the 4 guys we're going to offer, but man, we have such incredible support as coaches here. Coaches, from our support football staff, our grad assistants, all that, but our recruiting department, our creative media team, with our video department, President Clements, Dan Radakovich, Paul Journey. Everybody is once everybody says, all right, this is what we're doing. Everybody is so invested in and excited about promoting Clemson, and that's because we believe in it and we've lived it, and it's just a really cool thing to see, and especially in a year like 2020. And Bubba, I told you about Makuba. Makuba is my first true quarantine commit in the fact that he's never been to Clemson, but he's in love with Clemson and wanted to commit earlier. But he was going to come to camp. He was going to come to the all-in cookout. He was going to, and everything got canceled. He was going to come to a game, and he could never get here. But here's a kid that's grown up out there in Texas, and and he's been in love with Clemson, and that again speaks to that's a credit to all the young people who've come through here prior to and have helped build this program. That a young guy out in Texas notices that, he's like, that's what I want to be a part of. But my man Bubba, man, you know, he's my first Bubba too. I don't think I've had another Bubba. But my man Bubba, he is awesome. And Street reached out to me. I don't know, it was back in was it spring or summer? I can't remember when it was.
It was early spring.
Early spring, and he's like, you know, he said, I got this guy, and he said, I just want you to watch him. He said, I really like him, and he was kind of a late bloomer. Because again, go back to what I said earlier, multi-sport guy. All right, baseball player, basketball player. I mean, he can slam dunk the basketball like it ain't nothing. Basketball player, football player, pitcher, hitter. You know, just this really talented guy. But all of a sudden, you know, he just starting to blossom as a quarterback. And Street does as good a job as anybody when it comes to evaluating his position. And I remember watching him, and I was like, he's pretty good. And then I find out that he, you know, oh, by the way, he's got a 90-something mile-an-hour fastball. He's a 400 and something hitter. He's slam dunking I'm looking at basketball clips where he's throwing basketballs down, and I'm like, you know what? This guy isn't even tapped into his full potential yet. And I love that. Because we all know it's a developmental sport. So we get to talking to Bubba. Well, he can't come on campus. Now, the good news for him is he had been to Clemson before, but he's another guy that I've not been able to meet in person. It's the craziest thing. So I'm excited about Bubba and his potential, and same things, good program, led them, you know, into the playoffs this year. It's going to be great for our baseball team as well. You know, man, Coach Lee, he's pumped up over there, and everybody pencils him as a pitcher. Because, I mean, he's a big-time pitcher, literally, you know, 90-plus mile-an-hour guy, maybe a Friday night type starter for the baseball team. But he'll be quick to remind you he's a hitter. He'll let you know that real quick. Don't put him in a box. It's just he might pitch, but if he ain't pitching, he's going to be a DH guy because he can swing the stick. But man, he can spin the rock too. And I think he has really embraced the idea and trusts us with having a plan to help him, you know, excel. And he's one of those guys that I think will have a decision to make one day. You know, like a Kyler Murray, et cetera, Kyle Parker. It could go either way. But man, he fits a huge need for us, and just really, really excited. You know, North Oconee High School, Coach Arndt down there has done a great job in developing him, and but. Man, Street did a great job of evaluating this young man.
I'll tell you, it was a neat story with Bubba. You know, getting a little bit into the spring time period when we were all at home in quarantine, and actually, Mickey Kahn gave me a call, and it's his area, and Coach Arndt used to coach for Mickey at Grayson, and so there's usually a connection somewhere, you know, and that was a connection with Bubba and getting his tape out to me, and at the time was committed to Georgia in baseball, and so he was kind of under the radar because he was, you know, baseball at that point, and watched a film, and like Coach said, just special talent, ton of potential, and then he had even a better year this year, just fun to watch. He's got everything. He can run, he can throw. Got a very, very talented arm. And then I was really sold whenever he showed us some videos of him throwing right-handed and left-handed. so we can roll out either way, and we can be in good shape. But just really excited about this kid. Brings a lot to the table.
My father-in-law would call this guy double dexterous, is the word that he would use. All right, so Bubba's the first quarterback. Will Taylor is the next quarterback. Will Taylor at quarterback at a four-man defensive front here. Taylor will take the shotgun snap, going to go right side behind his guard and tackle. Yes, he will get the first down and seal the deal for Clemson.
Yeah, another great story. First of all, you know, coming from down there at Dutch Fork, Coach Knotts, he's won 5 state championships in a row, and man, nobody does a better job than Tommy. I mean, what an awesome job he's done down there at Dutch Fork. But this is one of those guys that, you know, you can mark it down. We'll look back in 4 or 5 years, and he's just maybe a guy that everybody's like, okay, who is this guy? But this guy is special with a capital S, all right? And nobody really knows it. And I would put him in that Adam Humphries category. I remember when we signed Adam Humphries and everybody was like, why are we signing Adam Humphries? We're signing Adam Humphries, because we're recruiting Sharon Peak. That was the narrative that year. And Adam makes, I think, $9 million a year now. He's turned out okay. But I bring him up because, I'll never forget sitting with Coach Gutshaw over there at Dorman High School at a basketball game. I went to watch Sharon play basketball, and I'm watching this kid out there. And I finally asked Coach Gutt, I'm like, hey, he's like, well, Coach, he's actually my best football player too. He plays everything, plays corner, receiver, quarterback. He said, but I just can't really get anybody to like him. And so, man, Jeff Scott and those guys started looking at him. They went and watched him in the spring game. And they're like, Coach, I'm telling you, this guy. I'm like, well, let's take him. Let's take him. We believe in him. That's all that should matter. And that's, again, another one of the reasons I think we've been consistent is we do believe in our convictions, whether it's a 5-star guy that has no offers, a 5-star guy that's got 50 offers and we all go, we don't see it. Or it's a guy that has no offers, but we all look at him and we're like, well, he's as good as any 5-star we've seen. Nolan Turner, all right, Grady Jarrett. We can go on and on and on. But this kid right here, and when I first became sold on him was a couple years ago. He came to our camp, and he's been a quarterback forever. That's what he plays. But we weren't necessarily going to sign him as a quarterback, and so I guess it was going into his junior year. He came to camp, and I told Jeff I wanted to look at him at the slot, so we put him over there in the slot, and I saw him that day in my camp, and I was like, okay, this guy right here has got a chance to be really something special. I'm not sure how it's all going to play out, and so we just kind of kept it on the back burner. And a lot of people had him, penciled in as a baseball only guy. Well, and then he goes over to Dutch Fork, and leads them to state championships, and he is a legitimate quarterback, no doubt about it. All right, and big-time baseball guy. He committed to the baseball team early as well. He might be the fastest. He probably will be the fastest kid they'll have on the baseball team when he gets here. Play anywhere in the outfield, but probably going to be a center fielder for him. But I just kept going back to this kid, and I could not get it out of my mind. And then, over the past year or so, with Renfro especially, back in 2018, I guess, when we all of a sudden we got in a quarterback bind, and we're taking Renfro and we're trying to train him as a quarterback. He was literally an emergency quarterback for us, and it was a crazy time. And I just kind of told myself, I'm not gonna let us get in this situation again. And so I've kind of kept Will in the back of my mind, and I approached Streeter about it and talked to Bubba about it, the whole thing. But he's signing as a quarterback, and we're gonna take this first year and we're gonna train him as a quarterback. We're gonna install a quarterback foundation as far as our scheme, our philosophy, what we do, how we teach it, be in all the quarterback meetings. And he could win for us without a doubt. If he stayed at quarterback his whole career, he could one day be a starter for Clemson and could win for us. I don't have any doubt about that. But our plan with him is to train him as a quarterback for a year, and then move him to receiver. And I think that's where his career will end up. I could be wrong. He may be Kyler Murray and win the Heisman at quarterback one day. I have no idea, but that's our plan going in. But this guy is really, and I don't even know if anybody else offered him in football. I have no idea. But I'm telling you, this guy right here is a really special player, a great addition to this class, and again, will give us a little bit of peace at the quarterback position, knowing that when he transitions to receiver, it might be 3 years from now. If we got in a bind, he could go play the position and he wouldn't have to start from scratch, because we're going to build that foundation right out of the get-go. So, and then obviously he's going to play baseball as well. And great kid, just a great kid, great student, and I think a great addition to this class.
Absolutely, and as you look at each position, I mean, anytime you get a kid that has this versatility, like Coach was saying, we're excited about that. I mean, when you watch his highlight tape, I mean, he's incredible. He can throw the ball any way he needs to, and then obviously he can escape the pocket, and just super athletic, fast, dynamic, make plays all over the field. So really excited about him, and then really just excited about his character, leadership, brings a lot of grit. I just keep seeing that every time you watch him play. So really excited about Will Taylor.
All right, well, congratulations to both of those additions to your room.
Oh, thank you very much. We're excited.
Absolutely. All right, let's move over to the wide receiver group that we have coming in, and we will welcome to the signing class Dakari Collins.
Takes the shotgun snap and he's back to pass. Looking downfield, has time. Gonna throw it, looking for Collins in the end zone. 50-50 ball, and Collins comes up with it. What a grab! And in for 6 goes Dakari Collins.
Well, I tell you what, we've had some challenges this year at receiver from a depth standpoint, and we really have. I mean, you'd have told us back in the spring we weren't going to have Justin Ross, Frank Ladson, or Joseph Ngata for most of the year. Grisham might have resigned. His first job, and he might have just packed up and left. But first thing I'm going to say, how proud I am of Tyler and the job that he's done. Again, no Ross, no Ngata, no Ladson for most of this year, but yet we've thrown for more yards than any team that we've had. And what Amari and Cornell have done, we're one of 3 teams that have 2 guys 670-something yards more in receiving. Tyler's done an awesome job of bringing that group along, and EJ's emergence and Speck coming on. I mean, he's had to balance a lot of things. But let me tell you, help is on the way with these 3 young men that we got, and we just talked about Will Taylor. Will Taylor will eventually, a year or so, end up in that room as well, I think. But these 3 guys coming in, the Collins twins and Stellato, man, let me tell you, this is 3 dudes right here that are gonna make that room get well in a hurry. So. Really excited about Dakari. Dakari's playing. He's competing for a state championship right now. He's teammates with Nate Wiggins down there at Westlake, and hopefully those guys can pull it off. But a great receiver prospect. He is big. He's long. He's physically developed. He's got great twitch, and a great young man. Committed early. Another guy that we had in camp. So I think he's going to be a great addition for us.
First and foremost, thank you for not resigning, all right? But tell me a little bit about Dakari.
Yes, sir, thank you. Dakari, really proud of him. Our first wide receiver commit in this class. Knew what he wanted to do. We knew we liked him early, offered him early. He committed early, stayed true to that commitment. And if you want to compare him to a guy we currently have on this roster, he's going to remind you of E.J. Williams a little bit. But he's taller. I mean, he's a legit 6'4" guy, but he's a low 200s, and he wants to stay that way because he is fast. He is quick, and I think what's impressive is he's versatile. You can put him on the inside if you want because he's quick enough. But also, man, with that height, that length, you love him on the outside for those 50-50 balls. In our room, we call them 70-30 balls because we expect to catch them. But, man, he's going to be really impressive, really smart guy, comes from a great program, has a really great wide receiver coach as well, so he's very polished. All 3 of these guys coming in are polished. So he's going to be able to help us, no doubt.
All right, so we get a Collins from the East Coast. We also get a Collins from the West Coast as we welcome in Bo Collins.
Back to pass. Gonna go long, looking for Collins down the left sideline. Hits him in stride. Into the end zone goes Bo Collins. 68-yard touchdown pass. The St. John Bosco connection hits again.
All my life, I've been
Yeah, going back to Cali, to Cali. Wasn't there a song? Am I making that up? Wasn't there a song?
You're looking.
Anybody old enough in here?
You're looking at the wrong guy.
It seems like there was a song, going back to Cali. Well, we're going back to Cali. St. John Bosco, Coach Negro, unbelievable job. I mean, he does it. What a program. Unfortunately, they weren't able to play this fall, but this is the same school that DJ Uiagalelei is coming from. But Grish just said it, and I would echo that. So this is the Collins twins here, and they are similar in a lot of ways, different in some ways too. But they're both big. But as he said, and we hadn't talked about Troy yet, but all three of these guys, like when you go back to last year and you think about a Joe, and we were so excited about a Joe, and still are because he was so raw, and the ability to just craft and mold this raw talent into something really special one day is exciting. But this year, these three guys, they are very polished wide receivers at this stage. They still have a lot of improving to do, but where they are right now from a route running standpoint, just understanding how to influence things, break points, ball skills, all those things, very polished guys. And Bo, also an early commit as well, and has not been able to get here obviously, but he's been in our camps and all those things, and but committed early and has stayed the course. Great family, and going to be a great fit for our program and for that receiver room.
Can you tell me a little bit about Bo?
First off, happy birthday. Today is his birthday.
Yes, today's his birthday.
FaceTime with him earlier this morning, and with his family. There's Clemson balloons all in the house. They're celebrating signing day and his birthday. So really, really proud of him and really happy for us. I mean, I told him we're getting not just an impact player, but an impact person. I really believe that. I think he's going to be a Paul Journey ambassador. I mean, I can see all these things for him. But, man, we're getting another polished guy. I think a guy that can play both the boundary and the field position. Excuse me. But very polished, and he loves the game. He loves to work at his craft. He's always trying to improve. Another great wide receiver coach he has. And so, man, really, really proud of him and expecting big things from him when he arrives.
All right, our third wide receiver in this group from the state of Florida is Troy Stellato. Back to pass, has time, we're going to look downfield, going to flip for Stellato, going long, and will hit him. Stellato will make a man miss at the 20, he's at the 15, 10, 5. Troy Stellato into the end zone for 6.
Well, Troy, first of all, is playing for the state championship tomorrow. So, and we talked about guys, winners. I mean, these guys are winners. Bo won a state championship last year, wasn't able to play. Zakari's playing for one. Right now he's in the process of that. And Troy's playing for a state championship with Coach DeBuck down there at Cardinal Gibbons in Fort Lauderdale tomorrow. But Troy reminds me a lot of his future coach, Grisham. And he's bigger than Grish was. He's taller than Grish. And just a little stouter.
Don't say that.
That's not true. Than Grish was coming out of high school.
I sit up my seat here.
But we all, Clemson people, we all remember the type of player Tyler Grisham was, and Troy reminds me a lot of Grish, in that he could play all three positions. I mean, he really could. I mean, he is a dynamic guy. He can do a lot of things. Like I said, he's kind of a bigger version of Grish, but ball skills, grinder, tough as they come, and again, dynamic, can play any position, can stretch the field, fast. He's great at his break points. He's got great, short area separation skills, and just a winner. I mean, unbelievable family, and loyal. Has been committed a long time, and I can't say enough about the job that Grish has done, because with Jeff been here so long, and Jeff was when he moved on, we were on some great guys, and Grish was right out of the gate able to kind of calm the waters a little bit. And these guys quickly realized, what Grish was bringing to the table and why I hired him to coach the receivers. And again, I think just a great fit for that room, and going to be another great one here for the Tigers.
Yeah, Coach covered it really well. A couple things that come to mind are speed with him. All right, so he has long speed. I didn't quite have it like he did, like he does, and then toughness, just gritty player. He's like Brandon Spector. He's going to be kind of similar a little bit in some ways. Can play multiple positions, but man, speed, toughness, and man, he's hungry. He's a competitor. Like he wants day one. He's going to try to get on that field and be the starter day one. And that's what he wants to do, and he has the work ethic to match that. So I'm really excited about what he can bring to the table.
Well, you start thinking about your room now and the depth now that's going to be really young depth in that room.
That's when we've been at our best. When we've been at our best is when we've had the ability. I mean, we've had the T. Higgins and Deion Keynes and Mike Williams, and we've been able to roll people last year. With Ross and T and Ladson and Ngata and all these guys, Amari and Cornell, being able to have the type of depth to play with the tempo and the amount of plays we want to play. And we have not had that as much this year. And that's, again, a credit to Grish and the job he's been able to do managing that. But this group right here, to go along with who's already here, it's going to be as good a room as we've ever had and as good a room as there is in the country.
Hi, Grish. All the best for these three young men coming in now.
Can't wait. Thank you.
Maybe they'll let us play with two balls. Maybe we can have two.
Maybe. I don't think that's unless we have a rule change. I don't think that'll be the case.
Bubba can throw left-handed or right-handed, so we'll put him on the left side, and we'll throw to both sides.
I like it. I like it. All right, our signing day show being brought to you by Holiday Ingram Real Estate Law, where every day is signing day. We're going to move over now to the offensive line.
That's the first commercial we've had, Don.
No, it's the first one that you've heard.
I was wondering if this was like a commercial-free show.
No. We have a sponsor. We're all sponsored out there.
Good.
We're good.
All right.
We got you taken. We're all good and taken care of. So as Coach Caldwell will settle in, we're going to talk a little bit about the offensive line. The first man we will talk about will be Ryan Linthicum.
Shotgun snap, and he'll hand it off. Pace right up the middle, and it has the first down. Great block by Ryan Linthicum. Just pancaked his man to free up Pace to get the much-needed first down.
Going back up to Damascus, Maryland, home of Brian Brzee, teammates with Brian. Love this guy. Played for Coach Klotz up there, and I love Ryan Linthicum. He's probably as good a center prospect as you could sign, and could play guard as well. But I always liked him as a player. We had him in camp and all those things. But one of the things that I loved about him the most is I got a chance to go watch him play basketball when we were recruiting Brian, and I got a chance to go up and watch Brian, and I get to watch Linthicum get out there and play basketball, setting screens and all this stuff, and missing layups. But I loved watching him play, and I mean, again, multi-sport guys. This is a great kid, great demeanor, great personality, and I think Coach Caldwell, he picked a good one right here.
Coach, tell me a little bit about Ryan.
Ryan is a lot of fun to be around. Great personality, as Coach said. He's got hair probably prettier than Trevor, so it's great. Got a twin sister that's very athletic. I mean, the whole family's just fantastic. Dad played college football. But Ryan played 3 sports, basketball, football, and lacrosse. He's pretty good with that stick, too. So we're very excited about him. And he's a natural center, so, we don't have to make one.
That's always good news. All right, our second guy in the offensive line room is going to be Marcus Tate.
Hand off Malusi. Malusi going left side. He'll cross the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, all the way out to the 43-yard line. Oh, what a great block from Marcus Tate. He freed up Malusi and allowed him to go for the big gainer of 25.
Well, another one of those winners. Won the state championship last week, playing for Coach Luque down there at the NSU school in Sunrise, Florida, down there on the East Coast. But This is a grown man right here, a big man. And I have a clear visual in my head. As this, I guess this would have been back. I don't know when it was. I don't know, last year or something. But somehow or another, Christian, because obviously Christian Wilkins lives down there, and somehow or another they were training at the same place. And I get this text message from Christian Wilkins, and it was Christian Wilkins. And he was smiling with this kid, and he sent me the picture, and I'm like, if the random person saw this picture and you said, okay, which one's the NFL player, which one's the high school player, you would have picked Marcus. That's how big he is, because he made Christian look tiny. So he is a big athletic man. Again, a winner, great family, been committed a long time. Loyal young man, and one of those guys that just, you love his personality. He's got a lot of depth to him, and very smart, knows what he wants in life, and a great addition to that OL room.
Coach, tell me a little bit about Marcus.
As Coach said, he's a mountain. He's every bit over 6'5", probably closer to 6'6", and with his hair, probably about 6'8" or 9", looks like. But big man, 325 pounds, can run, athletic. Even though he only played football, he doesn't talk about basketball much. He's pretty good at it, but he finishes blocks. He loves to. Several clips you'll see him mash them over into the sidelines. It's going to be a lot of fun, and so personable. As Coach said, great family, and he's just fun to be around. He's been committed since September, and just knew what he wanted.
Good to hear. The third man of our offensive line at class is Dietrich Pennington.
Takes the shotgun snap, going to set up a little screenplay right side. They find Dixon. Big screenplay, great block downfield by Dietrich Pennington. He got not only the defensive end, but was able to get into the second level and find the DB.
Yeah, we can kind of say ditto. This is Mr. Football up there in Tennessee. He went to Evangelical Christian there in Memphis, and played for Coach Adams. But he's a great story. He's a young man, came to camp. We talk about camp all the time. Came to camp, and I remember going over and watching this kid. I guess he was maybe a 10th grader, and he's working in the D-line. And I remember watching him, and I'm going, man, what a great-looking kid he is. And then I watched him in our OLDL pass rush, and he was a good D lineman. But when you've coached long enough, every now and then you come across and you say, man, if that guy if he would ever buy into playing OL, he could be something special. He's a good D lineman. He could be an elite offensive lineman. And unfortunately, a lot of guys won't buy into that. And I, later in life, always have fun conversations with those guys, like Miguel Chavis. He and I go back and forth. Miguel would probably still be playing if he had moved to left tackle. He knows that now, but you're kind of all meat-headed when you're 18 to 21. But this kid right here, and that was something that we talked to him about, a couple years ago. And he played both, but he really wanted to play D-line. And then I think he realized, what, I got a really bright future as an offensive lineman, Mr. Football. But he made the move over, and same thing. He is a mountain of a man. This is probably two of the biggest guys that we've signed, coming in here with Marcus and Dietrich. And a great kid, great fit for us. And, one of the cooler moments when he committed, he had his whole family, his grandparents, and everybody in the room. It was a pretty special moment for all of them. And, a guy that we think has a bright future here for us.
All right, give me a great recruiting story on Mr. Pennington.
He doesn't say a word. It's easy to recruit. You do all the talking. So he just says yes sir, no sir. Got good people around him, good advice, got a good mentor, and his coaches are very excited. Plays both ways, as Coach said. They won the state last year, and they were in the semifinals this year. 3-sport athlete, throws a shot and disc, basketball. I asked him the other night, I said, you score any points? He said, no, sir, I'm not in shape yet. So it's going to take him a little while, but he is a very special young man. Good student, too.
He is, and between Linthicum and Marcus, they can do all the talking, and Dietrich can just smile. But he doesn't say a whole lot. Just has such a sweet demeanor to him that he's about his business. And again, all three of them are big, but Dietrich and Marcus they're mountain of men, very, very big men.
Well, congratulations on the 3 pieces you've got to add to the offensive line, Coach.
It's going to be fun. Can't wait.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to move on to tight end now, which means we'll bring in Coach Danny Pearman, and we also talk about a guy that's going to have a big impact here on Clemson, and that is Jake Brenningstool.
Takes the shotgun snap, back to pass, looks across the middle. There is Brenningstool open, and he will have it for the first down. Breaking tackles, he'll pick up a couple of more, and a huge first down for this Clemson offense.
Yeah, Big Jake, Brentwood, Tennessee, Ravenwood High School, same thing. Winning program. He's been a part of a lot of winning in his day. Easily one of the top, few tight ends in the country. Could have gone anywhere he wanted to go in the country. Awesome family. Another one of the cool moments when he had come in and I think he had thought about it and he decided he didn't want to leave town without telling me. And he and his family drove over, knocked on the door on a Sunday before they were getting out of town because they wanted to tell me in person that, hey, I'm your we're going to take one tight end signing in this class, and same thing. We Danny recruited all over, evaluated a lot of guys, and he wanted to be the one guy, and we wanted him to be the one guy. And man, is he special! I mean, he's long, he can run, he's got a great skill set. As far as finishing passes, he's tough. I mean, he really brings everything we're looking for, and he's got great growth potential. He's not fully developed in what he's going to be physically. His dad was a great player. I believe his dad played Michigan State. And so we're really excited about Jake and what he brings. Going to be a great leader for us. Don't have any doubt about that. But I think a lot of people have him as the best player in the state of Tennessee. But got a bright future in that tight end room.
Coach, a little bit about Jake.
Just really a nice young man. Comes from a super family. Mom and Dad, Tony and Trish, just had done an outstanding job in raising him. And Coach mentioned the moment where he'd been over here several times. He'd camped with us. He had been to a game or two, and he came over and he just didn't want to leave town without going over there Sunday morning and putting his name on a scholarship. And I remember him for that probably as much as anything. Comes from a very successful program over there at Ravenwood with Coach Daniels. I mean, just do a good job year in and year out. And so he's used to the competition. He's used to winning, and he's ready to get on board.
You got a comparison? Is there a guy maybe that we've had in this program that he would remind us a little bit of?
From a catch radius standpoint, maybe a Brandon Ford. Kind of a kid who's he's played a lot of flex guy outside as a receiver. He's run a bunch of, bang eight, glance routes, slant routes, big red zone mismatch down in the plus territory guy. So I'd say maybe kind of a Brandon Ford from that standpoint for us.
Good enough.
Yeah, he's long. Brandon was a really long kid, and his catch radius is tremendous. He's taller than Brandon, but he's got that same length to him, and can run. He's a dynamic kid and exactly what everybody's looking for. That's why he was such a highly recruited guy. It's hard to find guys that can bring everything to the table as a tight end, and that's what everybody's looking for because of the mismatch opportunity, the ability to have the edge in the run game that you need, and then again be able to flex them out, play them in the box, do different things. Whether it be your play action game, pass protection, or just stretching the ball down the field. So he brings all that to the table.
Yeah. Sounds like a great addition to your room.
Yes, we're doing backflips to have him.
Good enough. All right, Coach, thank you very much. Appreciate that. The one tight end that we signed. We do sign a couple of running backs. We'll bring Tony Elliott obviously in at this point in time, and we will introduce you to Phil Maffa.
Handed off to Maffa through the line of scrimmage, makes the linebacker miss, and off to the races he goes. He's at the 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Phil Maffa.
Well, last running back we got from Grayson High School played for Coach Kahn. This one plays for Coach Carter. But we all are very familiar with the program that Grayson is. They're also in the semifinals this week. Again, the last running back we got, he's having a pretty good year for the New York Giants right now. But they're different. Gallman and Maffa are different as far as the type of running backs that they are. Well, let me tell you what they got in common. They're tough. They got toughness, and they're both winners, and they're coming from a winning program and a winning tradition. But I tell you what, Tony, I don't know how he does it, but he's got an unbelievable room, and man, he's adding two of the best in the country, and they're different. You know, they're similar in some ways, but they're different. Phil is a grown man, big, strong, in between the tackles type of guy, but still has the speed to pull away from you. Really has had an unbelievable year this year. Got hurt, so he's not getting to play in the semifinals this week. Hurt his ankle foot area, but we think we got us a great one in Big Phil.
Tony, you are known to be very picky. You even say this. You're very picky about who you recruit at running back. So why Phil Maffa?
I think you start with his character. When you meet Phil, he's very, very quiet, but he's a no-nonsense kind of guy. He knew exactly what he wanted. As you said, I'm very picky, so I'm usually the last to offer, and for him to be the first commit in this class, just let you know what kind of young man he is. But he came to camp, showed everything that he needed to show in camp, but he's a guy that knew exactly what he wanted, very, very intelligent, very, very smart, from a very, very humble family, and he just had all the qualities. It didn't take long recognizing or identifying that this is the kind of young man we want in our program.
All right, well, the other guy that we are adding to the running back room in our last signing that we'll talk about, Will Shipley.
He'll find Shipley. Shipley at the 12 takes it and makes a man miss at the 8, and into the end zone he goes. Touchdown. Clemson will take a 6-point lead, and we're under a minute to go.
Yeah, our man Ship. We've been chasing this guy forever. I mean, He's like Sasquatch, man. We've been looking for him and chasing him, and we finally caught him. He tried to run from us for a long time. This guy is special. Played for Coach Capone up there at Weddington, and same thing, winning program, state champions. He was MVP of the state championship in 2019. They didn't play this year, but you know, first time I met Will and his family, I knew he was special, and I knew he was a great fit. But he's also a guy that came to camp multiple times. And I remember when it was his 9th or 10th grade year, Tony wanted me to look. He said, this kid right here now, he said, I think he's got a real chance. And just goes to show you Tony's eye. But I mean, a lot of people have him listed as the top all-purpose back in the country. He is and that's what he is. He's all-purpose. He's dynamic. I mean, he can do it all. He can catch the football. He can come out of the backfield. You can put him in the slot. He can return kicks. He can run between the tackles. He can do it all, and I think going to be a great player for us here at Clemson. And so these two guys coming in, I think when it's all said and done, they'll be great friends. Probably be in each other's weddings before it's all said and done, and great additions to that room we got.
All right, tell me a little bit about Mr. Shipley.
Just to echo what Coach said, came to camp as a sophomore, and you knew immediately just watching him run around that he had the skill set. But as you get to know him, he's a lot like Phil, a very, very high character young man, very, very thorough, very, very detailed, very, very loyal. Wanted to make sure that he, dotted every I, crossed every T in the recruiting process. He did make us, work a little hard to get him there, but it was because he was doing it the right way. But he has a complete skill set. He has the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and run between the tackles, which sometimes you don't see coming out of high school. Like, go back to Wayne Gallman, you had to develop Wayne as a pass catcher. You had to develop Travis as a pass catcher. But Will has the complete skill set, and he has the size, which is a unique combination when you talk about a guy that's going to be very, very fast, 210, 215 pounds, and you can play him in the slot. He just has a unique skill set.
Both these guys coming in early?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so both of them will be here in January, which is another advantage for you. But it is a huge advantage for you.
Definitely, especially with the situation at running back. It's going to be a lot of competition. You can't forget about the guys that are already in the room. And what I really like about these two coming in is their temperament, their personality. They kind of balance the room out. We got some guys that are unique in their own way with their temperaments and their personality. And for me as a coach, I'm very, very conscious of that. And I want to make sure that it's a good fit and good chemistry. And I think these two guys are going to bring a competitive edge, but then they're also going to bring an attention to detail and just a competition every single day that's going to make the other guys in the room compete harder and become better.
As offensive coordinator, so you have these two pieces, then 9 others that we've signed on that side of the ball. Just talk about this group and how you see this playing out at Clemson.
You're just giving Coach some more ammo. You know, he's always putting pressure on me with the weapons that we have. But first and foremost, you know, you got to tip your hat to Coach Swinney for the culture that he's created that has attracted the type of young men, you know, that we have coming in on the offensive side of the ball and on the defensive side of the ball. But in particular, just talking about our side, you look at the quarterbacks. You look at Bubba, and what I like about Bubba is he's got a moxie about him. You know, he's already kind of, you know, taking over the lead dog with the guys, and the guys never even met him. You know, but just his moxie, he just has a swagger about him in a good way. But he's going to be able to connect with everybody in the room. Will Taylor, he's just a fast, dynamic guy that we don't even know exactly what he's going to be yet. You know, he's still developing. Offensive line-wise, you know, the size. That's what we're really looking at, the size to help us to complement what we have with the running backs. You know, the ability to run between the tackles, and then we got the twin towers on the outside, and then we got the little fast jet guy inside with Troy. So just a lot of things. And then you bring in Brendan Stool, a guy that's going to continue to elevate the tight end position with his athleticism. So man, it's going to be a lot of fun. But I think the biggest thing is these guys understand what our culture's about. They understand that we take the ego out of it. We want to do what's best for the team and put us in a position to win, but then we're going to find ways to accentuate their talent. So we got a lot of pieces coming in. A lot of guys are going to come in early as well. Spring ball is going to be big for them, especially some of them big guys up front. So I'm just excited to see these guys come in and make the transition and then get our hands on them when we get them to spring.
All right, Tony.
I think one of the things that should be stated is, you know, because I every year it's always kind of an unveiling, and you know, I keep my cards close to my vest, but we'll have that meeting, and then everybody from Sorrels, they're all, and they usually send Sorrels first, you know, because they want to kind of get a lay of the land, so that then they can kind of get their strategic thoughts, you know, and their strategic plan on how they're going to approach me or set it up, or how you say this, and then like I don't know all this goes on, you know. So, but you know, because every year it's like, okay, because they really want me to say, all right, Tony, you're getting 2 running back spots, you get 2 scholarships, or you know, whatever it is, and so, you know, there's really nobody that can manage that but me, because I'm responsible for all of it, and you know, I'm accountable to all these kids, and you know, if it was up to Brent Venables, he'd sign, you know, 30 defensive guys every year. So I got to make sure we all, nobody comes up short. But this year, I think, you know, one of the MVPs is Coach V. Coach V let the offense sign 11 guys, and the defense kind of, you know, took one for the team and only took 7 scholarships. So I think that should be stated. Coach V was one of the MVPs this year.
Well, I've learned from you, Coach. You got to know which battles to fight. So I've conceded a couple times in the past, and it just so happened that it came back around. But really excited about this group coming in.
Coach V will get you. He'll come back. He'll get his. He'll come back and get his.
Well, I'm used to it. I get it every day in practice. So.
Absolutely. The other thing I like about Tony is that he shows up in his playoff swag too. I mean, he think, you know, ACC championship is right out there, but he's already showing up in playoff swag. I like
Subliminal
it.
messaging.
I can promise you, he didn't think about that. That's just a God wink right there. So we'll look at it that way.
Amen to that.
He's thinking about too many other things, but
Exactly.
I like that.
Exactly.
All right. Hey, congratulations on what you have signed on the offensive side. And your room just got better.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so there you go, Tony Elliott. All right, so this gives you and I, Coach, a little bit of time here to kind of wrap all of this stuff up. So 18 young men here that have signed with us in the month of December. Now, we still have the month of February to come. We'll see how that plays out. And you talk about roster management. You're going to have to do some of that as a head coach when this season is all said and done. But these 18 men now that come and join this program, and not just them, but their families, mom, dad, extended family as well. Glad to have them as part of the Clemson family.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know, we've got an unusual circumstance with the COVID year in that, you know, guys that are on this team right now, seniors, have the opportunity to come back. And so, you know, I think and I hope that some of those guys are going to stay along. And so, you know, we do have to manage the roster, and we do hope that we can add a couple of walk-ons to this group. And there are a couple guys we're chasing that maybe won't make a decision until, you know, hopefully sometime in January. But whenever they make a decision, you know, I mean, we're just kind of waiting to see what they're going to do. But if we don't get another player, this is an incredible group. And I just cannot say again how thankful I am, how grateful I am to their families, to each one of these young people for their belief in our program, for the belief in our staff, and all things Clemson. And then also just thanks to our staff and all the people involved, because it's all hands on deck when it comes to recruiting. And you know, recruiting is the lifeline of a program. That's just you're not going to be successful if you don't recruit well. And you're not going to recruit well if you're not passionate about it. And for us, it's an easy thing to be passionate about it because we love it and we live it, and we love these young men. And your current team, you know, I think is who we also need to think, because your current team is the one that really exudes the culture and the type of program that you have. And I say that all the time. The greatest asset we have are the players that are on this roster, and that's who I'm most loyal to. And I think that those guys are a big reason as well why we recruit so well. Great start to this class. You know, maybe there'll be somebody else, who knows, between now and February. But as I said earlier, Christmas has come early in Clemson, South Carolina.
All right, and I would be remiss. I got to ask about Saturday, because here we sit on Wednesday. Saturday, the championship phase of this season all begins in the ACC championship game, a quasi-quarterfinal game really for the playoffs, and could be. I mean, this game, you could just take this and move it right to Miami and make it the national championship game. That's the kind of impact this game is going to have. Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. It's Working Man Wednesday for us, and you know, we've got a chance to go back to Charlotte in our 6th straight championship game appearance, and hopefully bring home our 6th trophy in a row. And we all have great respect for Notre Dame. Obviously, the experience that we had early in the year. It's a really good football team. This is the best team we've played in the ACC championship game, you know, since I've been, you know, the head coach. I mean, this is a playoff game. There's no question about it. And you know, so we got to play well. We got to do some things better. We got to, you know, obviously not turn the ball over. We lost the margin, and in games like this, that's often the difference, and it was in the last game if you don't change anything else. So, taking care of the ball, playing a little better in the trenches, be a little more efficient offensively and defensively. Manage this quarterback better. He's a great player. He's going to make plays. He can get uncomfortable at times but you know, good players will make you uncomfortable at times. But we've got to play better in certain areas, and I don't have any doubt we will. These guys are excited. They're looking forward to it. I wish we could have a packed house in Charlotte, but you know, that's just kind of where we've been all year. But I'm thankful that our families will be able to be there, and these players' families will have the opportunity to see them play and compete. But it's going to be a good one. It is going to be a good one. Going to be a good one indeed. Today was a great day, though, for Clemson football. No doubt. Great day. Great day. The best is yet to come. No doubt about it. Ain't no doubt about it. All right, so there you go. That is signing day here in the month of December for the 2021 class. All right, but this class not quite done as of yet. So that does it for us here from the Allen N. Reeves Football Complex here on the Clemson campus as you take a look at the Oculus and all things that are Memorial Stadium in there in Death Valley. Can't wait to get back in that stadium. Merry Christmas to you and yours from all of us here in the Clemson football family. Yes, there is. You can have a cookie. You can have a cookie. You can get that. They are COVID proof. You don't have to worry about it. Don't forget, we got a press conference that'll be coming up with Coach Swinney as well. So that'll be out there online and on social media. All right. From all of us here from the Clemson football family, Merry Christmas and